Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win for the qualifying round here for the Northshore Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides for Expert, Pro or Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You can also get our exclusive tour text guides, which we launched the 1st of June. So if you want to get the best of both worlds, or just the best of any world in Golf Clash, we have it all linked directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that these are all suggestions and you don't have to follow what I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. When I saw this wind, I thought to myself, okay, maybe I shouldn't send it. But in the end, I decided to send it because I got safely over to the green area a couple of times in a row. Not couple, 5 times in a row to be more exact. No movement, don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the rings. We do want to have a wind that is at least 10.5 miles per hour. So if the wind with a berserker is too low, then you change to like a shamrock, snow globe, whatever ball that has wind 0, power 5 instead, right? 2 bars of left spin, and with 11 miles per hour, we go with half a bar of backspin when it is a 240 yard driver, which is Apocalypse 5 plus. Half a ball of curl to the left, try to hit perfect, great left, great right will still be fine in the sense of that we will hit the fairway. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to end up. You can see here that I got a little glitch roll on the green. And I was actually nervous about that because I thought I was going to roll into the rough, but I'm nowhere near, to be honest. So, what I base this on here now, while I'm talking about that, we can actually put the video on again. So, 11 miles per hour, it's half a bar backspin, right? 11.5 miles per hour, 0.8 bars of backspin. 12 miles per hour, we go with 1.2 bars of backspin. What do you do if you do play with an Apocalypse level 4 and not have 240 yards of power on your drive? You still adjust, you push up to max, but you're gonna go with 0.3 bars of topspin based on an 11 miles per hour instead. So it's gonna be basically what I made as a difference is 0.8. So from 0.5 backspin to 0.3 topspin, there's a difference of 0.8 in between each other. So again, it's hard to maybe remember, but obviously with an Apocalypse 4 we have less power, and we then need to, in that case, have different spins. Otherwise we will be in problem, having problem. I'm not ruling out that we may misread, you know, the spins and stuff and be into the rough, but it's going to be a super simple birdie, but it's going to also be a chance for an eagle from rough or sand if that's going to happen. So again, hole number 1, we start off with a send it wind. Very important that we do get the eagle because the majority of our opponents will do the same. So here we're gonna send it, we're not gonna lay up, and you know, have fun. Hole number 2, we are going to have a minor headwind combined with crosswind, but that's gonna be fine still to play with the rock here. So we're going to start with the rock level 9. We start with the white ring to left by the rough line at +10, 4 top spin, 1 left spin. Once that is done, we shall then apply an adjustment that is maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment. When it comes to the rock level 8, you start at +11. If you do play with the rock level 7, you start at complete max, which is +15. When it comes to the rock level 7, you also need to use overpower with this shot, which I would recommend to go with 2 rings of overpower. When it comes to the rock level 8 and level 9, I would recommend to go with the overpower that you adjust into. So if you don't adjust into overpower, no overpower. But if you adjust into overpower, use that overpower that you adjust into. Second shot is not gonna be easy. This has never been an easy albatross shot, but it's definitely going to be a makeable one. So from absolute max distance, I'm using 1.8 bars of topspin. Ball guideline is going through the hole. I would strongly advise you though to go with 2 bars of topspin a full 2 bars of topspin to make sure that the ball guy line go through the hole properly. Now we are just through the hole, which is going to require a little bit luck if we're going to have the speed enough to roll up on that hill, which we're not getting here in this video, unfortunately. So, from absolute max distance with Sniper 10 here, we're playing 90% slider, 20% elevation, power 3 ball settings. Looking at the direction of this shot, it comes in lovely. It obviously turns more left as the green slopes left, as we don't have the speed enough to roll up. So, again, we need to let the ball guy line go through the hole a little bit more, so we do have the ball has the energy to roll towards the cup. So from absolute max distance, 90% slider plus 20, so 20% elevation here on hole 2. For hole number 3, we're going to start with a power 4 ball to find complete minimum distance with the inner ring by the sand trap line. Doesn't matter what power 4 ball you use, just that you use one. Gracefully packed in your bag to easier find min distance line. After that, we will apply 3 bars of side spin to the right, 2 bars of backspin. Change to either a wind 4, side spin 3 or a wind 3, side spin 3. We want to have wind between 6.5 and 7.5, 6.5 and 8 miles per hour. Minimum distance with a 15% over adjustment with a strong 1201. So a big 1201. If you do not go big enough, you will risk not clipping the rough. Perfect ball, and you're gonna have a very good chance getting this one to drop for an hole-in-one, which we do here in the video with a perfect ball. Great right, great left will still clip the rough, so you have that in mind, even though it looks scary or risky or whatever. Good chance, in my opinion, with this shot on hole number 3. Another sended wind on hole number 4, super easy hole, but where an eagle is going to be an absolute must. Stretch out to max to visualize the bullseye being in between the 2 bunkers there at top. 3 top spin, 2 left spin, and then we shall adjust the max plus 10. When it comes to a driver with 240 yards of power, we shall not push up to max or not push up anything. We shall just leave it be to where it is after we have adjusted. Slow needle, max overpower, half a ball of curl to the left. Couldn't be more simpler than that, to be completely honest. It's gonna bounce and it's going to roll. You know, it's gonna be somewhere either on green or just by the green for a super simple wedge. Those of you that do want to push a bit more for an hole-in-one can increase the curl, can reduce the topspin a little bit, but here we play safe to get our eagle, which is gonna be what we're looking for in qualifying round. When it comes to playing with an Apocalypse 4, you push up 6 yards after your adjustment. So let's say that you end from after adjusting max plus 10 at plus 4, you push up to plus 10. It will still be a slow needle. That's the same, you know, if you want to go with an extra mile level 8, which has 236 yards of power, then you push up 4 yards instead of the 6 yards of Apocalypse 4. So always go based on a 240 yard driver, and if you have less power, then you push up the yardage difference that is between, you know, the Apocalypse 240 yards and, you know, the other yardage. So hopefully that makes sense, at least. Maybe a little messy explanation in the end. Super duper simple eagle on hole 4. Tough wind on hole number 5, but I will show you a route which could give you a good chance for an albatross, in my opinion. Start at complete max with red ring by the rough line with Apocalypse 6 and 5, half of the blue ring inside the rough with 7 and 8, and then Apocalypse 4 shall still have the red ring by the rough line even though we start further back. Adjust directly into overpower, max plus 10 power 4 ball numbers. With Apocalypse 5 plus, then you shall not go with any overpower here at all. Doesn't matter what wind it's gonna be, no overpower whatsoever. When it comes to Apocalypse level 4, we shall always go with 3 rings of overpower. Now we're looking to get that little glitch roll on the fairway. I would say that this shot somewhat depends on it. Getting it down to 375 or better is going to be kind of crucial. Second shot, we are going to looking into going for a rough bump. And this one may look scary, but it's not, if you set it up the way that I do. Now, we're gonna go with 0.8 bars of backspin, which gonna mean that we're gonna have the ball guideline to go through the hole. It's gonna look like we're gonna come in hot, but we're not. We're just going to compensate for the compressed ball guideline in headwind. Look at my bullseye position. It's just barely by the edge of the rough, but that is important because, again, we do have headwind, and then we will have a compressed ball flight as well. So in that case, we're going to have to start there to make sure that we're not gonna fall short. +4 was our yardage before we adjusted our shot, and that's going to be 72% slider, and we're going to play that one. I'm gonna change here. 15% elevation. 72% slider, 15% elevation is what we're gonna play from +4 to give ourselves a chance for an albatross. If you feel uncomfortable with this approach, or if you get a very short drive some reason, you might get very dead bounces and such, play it just safely to green. Like bounce on the fairway pad that is before the green and just lock in the eagle. There's no point trying to go for the rough bump by having to use overpower. So only use this rough bump option if you do have a drive that then puts you in a situation where it's a very makeable rough bump. So hole 5 could be a boring hole for you, but could also be a fun one where if we can go for the rough bump. For hole number 6, we are going to follow the same type of wind structure as we did on hole 3. Wind between 6.5 and 8 miles per hour is what we do want. We want to play with 1.5 bar backspin, 1.5 bar side spin to the right, and we're going to look for the spot where the top of the yellow ring is by the edge of the rough line with ball guideline through the hole. And you can see there that glitchy spot. The reason there is a glitchy spot there is because we are too high up. So make sure to have the top of the yellow ring flushed by the edge of the rough. Max +25 P3 numbers is what we're using here. I would strongly advise you to not use any 1201. So if you're gonna favor anything, favor 1159. Last but not least, we're gonna use overpower. And we're gonna use overpower to just before that little glitchy spot when we pull back. So basically you pull back until you see the ring basically, you know, becomes longer. It's not gonna crack, but it becomes longer. Then you just back up just after that. You can check the replay obviously here many times to see what I'm talking about. In the end, very unlucky not getting this ball to drop. This wind, or any wind on hole 6 where it is headwind, it is pretty tricky as due to the compressed ball guideline that we're going to have. Not just the flight, or like the ball flight is going to be shorter, but also obviously the ball guideline is going to be shorter. So it looks messy, but it does work. Good chance in my opinion on hole 6. It's not often that we do have ascended wind on all par 4s, which we do have with hole 7 as well. Start with a no movement, don't touch the target. Power 5 ball should be equipped, like a berserker ball or a snow globe, something like that. Adjust max +10, then we shall push all the way up to max. And the reason I do this type of way is to make sure that we have the simplest time to find the correct landing position. Adjust max +10 as we already have done, and then we push up to max with 11.1 miles per hour, let's say 11 miles per hour. I'm playing no topspin, no backspin, and 2 bars of right spin. And the reason I'm playing right spin is because I do want to use full left curl. I do hit a great left here, and I was a bit afraid of that. Maybe I was gonna get stuck into the rough on the left, but this one actually comes in very good with a great left, and I do believe a perfect ball could put us very close to an hole-in-one with this adjustment. Obviously, if you have a higher wind, you need to add more backspin. You need to add some backspin. With lower wind, you need to add some topspin. So that is, you know, my thought here is to try to have as much wind possible. It's going to be easier because you're going to have to be able to play with backspin. If you do play with Apocalypse level 4, what we have made here as a difference, just going to check the table, is that we do have half a bar of difference here in between. So let's say that we do have no topspin, no backspin for 11 miles per hour. Then we play half a bar of topspin with Apocalypse level 4 due to its 6 yards less power. So in the end though, good chance to get ourselves a nice easy eagle on hole 7, but have in mind that this hole has a very bumpy fairway, so I'm not gonna rule out that if we have a very bad first bounce, it might not be the outcome that we're looking for, but the wind is too good to lay up when it comes to hole 7. Start with a power fireball. Doesn't matter what power fireball you have. Start with it to find minimum distance line, red ring just by the bunker line. 3.1 backspin and 1 left spin. And once we have found and done everything like that, we change to basically whatever wind 4 ball you have. In this case, I'm using the ski ball, which is a power 2 wind 4. You can use a Kingslayer, Centurion, Mummy ball. Like, there is so many balls that do a wind 4, side spin 1, and we want to do that regardless of what wind we're gonna have, because we're playing a very, you know, downhill shot here, and we're gonna need to do that to help ourselves having an easier time to dial this shot in. Max plus 15 power 3 ball numbers. And this one, unfortunately, just burned the edge there on hole 8. But what I do recommend, though, is to keep the same adjustment, because I did slightly overpull that shot to what I was supposed to do. Also have in mind that if you do have more of a headwind angle, I would recommend to add an extra decimal there, due to headwind with crosswind acts a little bit differently than a flat crosswind. Tough one to drop like from all the time, but with this structure, we definitely have a good chance. We end up with hole number 9, and here we start with our quarterback in complete max distance with a red ring by the rough line. 5 bars of topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the right, and once that is done, we shall apply an adjustment that is max plus 5%. And again, you know, I said 5 bars of topspin, I almost fooled myself, but we're actually just playing with 4.5 bar topspin, not 5. Very important. 4.5 bar topspin, and then 3 right spin. 1 ball of curl to the right. And try to hit perfect, obviously. So, we're gonna try to get this ball as far down the fairway possible. The further up we are, the better position we will be in when it comes to attacking the pin with our sniper. So, we do get to 359 yards, which is perfect. If we can get between 355, 365 all the time, I'll take that. So, now, for the albatross attempt, we go with no spin, leave the ball guideline approximately 3 green squares short of pin. Very important. Then plus 4 is becoming, now let's take a look here at my note. At plus 4, we play 83% slider, 10% elevation, power 3 ball numbers, right? And then obviously the only thing we have to do is hit perfect. So this is a par 5 where an albatross is not really gonna be that rare. I think there will be players dropping this one from time to time. We're getting it left side of cup here, and we could argue to remove a decimal, but I don't really care about that. We're gonna go with 83% slider, 10% elevation, based on the plus 4 yard mark that we do have our sniper in when we are done setting up our target. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for the qualifying round expert division here for the Northshore Tournament in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure to get the most detailed and best guides for expert on the market by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Obviously, if you're looking into improving your tour play or any other division in the tournament as well, you can get our guides for there. We are the only place where you can find the best of both worlds, so make sure to check it out. Link directly in the description down below. Thank you once again for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.